Left, right, left, right. I have my head down as I'm counting the steps for the past 10 minutes. Tina's smoking a cigarette as she goes along at the same pace. I desperately try to come up with something to say. This walk is pretty boring so far. What do you say about...
Don't.
Tina places a hand on my arm as she stops.
I just want to enjoy the quiet, please.
After a second, I nod and we both continue in our walk. I'm following Tina in silence, which I think she's going in random directions, hoping to find something interesting. That's why it's a bit surprising that we come across a bridge that I've never seen. The lake spreads far and wide into the distance. I slowly stop and start to admire the view, coming to the concrete fence. The fence is made of concrete? When Tina realizes that I've stopped, she comes to the fence and also looks out. Both of us stay quiet as Tina smokes a cigarette, puff after puff.
You've never been here?
I don't really go to the outskirts of the city, so this is new to me.
Then you were missing out big time.
Bummer. I think it's something to say as Tina throws the cigarette butt into the lake. The ashes sprinkle in the air as the butt falls down. Well, how do you know this place?
It's quiet. Not many people around. It was used for disposal of all kinds of shit. Plus, you can't deny the view is great.
No one probably can't. You mean no one probably can? Eh. Another quiet grows between us as I look down and tap with my fingers, trying to find another topic to discuss.
Why didn't I quit sooner?
What did you say? Tina looks at me surprised. She probably didn't expect that I would hear her. She then looks away, while leaning against the fence, playing with her thumbs.
Why did I not quit sooner, Malone? Why? I could have avoided all this shit much sooner and be happier in the long run. Now we wouldn't have to deal with the bullshit that followed with Monica's murder. All because I was too afraid to do something about myself. Fuck.
Feeling bad for Tina, I come to her and place my hands around her in a hug. You were forced into it. Don't blame yourself.
Heh. That's really good advice. I really appreciate it.
Don't come up with that, Tina. You were trying to protect those you love with going with it. That's better than ending up dead.
And failing miserably.
I break the hug and sigh. She is still hung up over it, so I try to distract her from it. From when you're such a pessimist? I mean, since when? Tina smirks from my comments and looks down.
No doubt Sayori had depression. You're really bad at this stuff.
I just wanted to make you smile, you know. Still better than making you feel guilty, anyway. As Tina smiles, I still try to find something to do other than to doubt ourselves. I still remember how you called me dog shit. That was pretty funny.
What was that for?
Honestly, I have no idea anymore.
And how was it funny, anyway? Are you that much of a pushover that you accept insults?
I accept insults from people I like, mind you.
Thanks for the compliment.
No problem. We both smile at each other as I pat Tina's shoulder. There's no point in staying here. Let's go. Tina nods in agreement as we head out, leaving the beautiful view behind us. I smile as I spot a familiar house in the distance with a second-story balcony. I head for the front door. I consider ringing the bell, but I don't. That's too wise. I opt out to simply knocking on the door. Coming, said someone. The voice of a middle-aged man burbs out loud. Seconds later, the door opens. Oh, so I won't have to change my voice then. It's Datsuki. The man is just slightly taller than me and brandishes metal glasses. His shirt's untucked, and his tie freed to not be uncomfortable for him. He smirks as he leans against the doorway. Rainier. Isn't that the same name as like one of the scientists connected with Libitina or whatever? Did my daughter insult you again? I've known Natsuki's dad for quite a while now. I think Natsuki introduced me to him after a month we knew each other. The first meeting was, at the best, awkward. Really awkward. I recognize that he's only joking with his taunt. I decided to play along as I present my own smirk. She called me a wooden wheelchair. So completely fucking useless? You can't be more right. We both smirk at each other as Natsuki's dad steps aside to let me into the house. The smell of a recently used oven has filled the whole house as I step in. No, it wasn't going to be about baking. Before I can think about this further, Natsuki's dad speaks up. How's life going? I think back to the argument Tina had with the other girl and then her apology at the courtyard. You could say I've had surprising encounters. Eh, what was it to this time? You've rammed into a lady and then invited her for coffee? No, I didn't. Really? Isn't that a cliche in that bullshit entertainment of yours? Anime? Yeah, that. Well, it maybe is, but it's surely better to watch that than drink beer all day. Oh, burn. Natsuki's dad looks into the living room. Several empty beer bottles are lying next to the couch. Ranniger then smirks as he slaps my shoulder. You're still a stinky piece of shit for that. Gladly, he didn't take it personally, which is something I appreciate about him. At least he is self-aware about his problems and doesn't mind jokes about it. Haha, funny. Can we move on? Starting an argument over such a petty thing won't be good for either of us. Alright, alright. Natsuki's in the kitchen if he came because of her. Why not? Decide to head for the kitchen. Before I can, though, I'm stopped by Rainier when he puts a hand on my shoulder. Thanks for introducing her to something else than the constant bullshit she's usually reading. I smile as I replicate his gesture on his shoulder. That wasn't me. She picked it herself. Why? I don't have a clue, sir. Rainier smirks after I call him sir. I see that you still have respect for older people, Malone. That's what my parents taught me. Rainier's smile drops a bit. It's almost unnoticeable as he taps my shoulder with his palm and goes for the living room. Where the fuck is my bottle? I ignore Rainier for now as I head into the kitchen. Natsuki is currently taking her cupcakes out of the oven, placing them on the counter. Dirty dishes are all over the kitchen. The smell of chocolate together mixed with vanilla soothes my nostrils.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, but there's one thing wrong.
Which one?
We were supposed to bake them together, didn't we? You mean weren't we? Or at least that's what we agreed on.
Well...
Natsuki looks away, a tear of sweat coming from her forehead.
You weren't coming for a long while and I didn't want to eat them at midnight. What even kept you from coming anyway?
Nat, you don't have to put on a mask in front of me. We talked about this. Natsuki's sigh spreads as she sits down. That's an odd way to describe a sigh.
Can you blame me? You basically caught me lying there.
I suspected it. Don't worry about it. Natsuki swivels in her seat after my comment. She wants to talk about something, but she struggles as to how to approach it. Before she can say anything, her father comes into the kitchen and heads for the fridge. There, he takes out a beer bottle and closes it again. He then takes a look after the kitchen and frowns. Those dishes are going to be cleaned, you understand? Natsuki frowns at him as well, annoyed by her father interrupting her thought process.
Yeah, I get it, Dad.
Natsuki's tone has poison in it, projecting a frustrated person. You could just say she has frustration in her voice. Her father picks up on that and leans towards her through the table. What is that tone, Natsuki? Didn't I taught you to be respectful towards your father? Teach.
You can tell me, Dad, what I did so horribly that I hurt your ego.
Seriously, Nat? Her father is a bit surprised by her answer. He then narrows his eyes and frowns at Natsuki. Nat. Oh, that's how you're going to treat me, huh? Then why am I even caring about you then? Natsuki stands up and grabs the table, looking deep into her father's eyes.
Care about me? Care? You did not give a single fuck about me, Dad! Who was it that learned cooking by themselves because someone was too lazy to get off that goddamn couch? It was me, Dad!
Natsuki is just making everything worse by every second. I should really defuse the situation. Nat, come on. Both of them were ignoring me as steam was coming from both. And who is the one who makes money, pays rent for this house, who doesn't throw her daughter on the street? Who? Alright, both of you shut the fuck up. They both look at me. Their eyes reveal the savage anger inside them as they pierce into my soul. That's like the best sentence this whole plot so far. I don't mind it as I come to them both. Now both of you will calm down and very fast. Come on, breathe in and out. That doesn't. Breathe in and out. I say my request more loudly to silence Rainier. Both of the family members look at each other and comply. For a minute, they repeat my command of breathing in and out. Eventually, they calm down. Rainier looks rather guilty as he sighs. I'm sorry, Nat. I didn't want to escalate it that much. Natsuki ignores him as she sits again in her chair, looking into a random direction. Rainier, without any other word, leaves with his bottle into the living room. I would dabble on and on about how we are not so different, but that would be such a cliche, it would be boring. Rather, what I will do is going to easily explain why Monica was, quite frankly, a piece of shit. Wait, let me say what I will do is going to easily explain. Okay, yeah, that's weird phrasing. There's much more underneath than Monica would let on. It's practically pointless. You already know that, and I'm not going to bother with explaining stuff you already know. Let's make it more fun instead, shall we? Ugh. Oh. History. What did it say? Oh, it was Malone saying no, please. For a second I thought it was Monica. I blinked by too quick. August 14th, 2018, a Tuesday. I don't remember the previous date. It's been too long. I shoot up from laying on my bed. It's the present. I'm all covered in sweat. My heart can't seem to stop as I try to calm down with quick, heavy breaths. Eventually, I managed to calm down at least a bit to realize in my own room. Okay, I sit down at the foot of the bed and sigh. The clock just ticks 4:51 a.m. At least it's not the witching hour. Fucking hell.
Nightmares?
I look at Tina, who is laying down right next to me, covered deep in her blanket. What else? Tina lets out a sigh as she yanks off her blanket and goes to sit next to me. The moonlight reveals that she was sleeping in her underwear. I'm no different.
What was it this time?
It was rather short. He was babbling about Monica and then teased me.
That's all?
I appreciate it being short. It isn't a pain in the ass for long.
Yeah, true. Mine was Lily.
Your best friend? Tina nods as she looked into the distance. Looks. What specifically?
The beginning of it was actually nice. First meeting up, doing friend things, all sorts of random shit. But then everything went to black, and all I was left with is an echoing voice. It was your fault. While random noise was fucking in my ears.
Noise? Noise? Not exactly pleasant either, huh?
Tell me about it, Sherlock.
We both sit in silence. We all have been getting nightmares for the past month or so. For me, always waking up in sweat in the middle of the night is tiring. Tina, after a few seconds, shakes her head and stands up.
Fuck it, I'm gonna stay awake.
She goes to the closet and starts picking out an outfit.
Something more comfortable would be nice.
Tina mumbles to herself as she picks out a blue hoodie. It's only 4:15. You can still have some sleep. Tina stops from picking up her outfit. I guess some people sleep later than me. I always wake up at 6, so like, if I woke up at 4:50, I'd probably just get up too. Tina stops from picking up her outfit.
Most of the time, I can't sleep more than to 5 or 6 a.m. Oh, so you should the same way. Will an hour make a difference?
Probably not. After a while, I decide to stay awake as well. After a while, we're both dressed up. Tina is adjusting her hoodie, with her eyes set on a random drawer. She is still thinking about something, maybe about the nightmare she had. I decide the answer is probably yes as I place a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry about it. Tina averts her eyes, still thinking.
Okay, then.
Tina's look still doesn't change. I sigh as I let her be and leave the bedroom. The past.
Hey, Amy, how are you doing?
A few minutes have passed since their argument. While Natsuki calls, I take a closer look at the cupcakes. Each cupcake is in either of 3 colors, yellow, blue, and green. Each has a piece of chocolate sticking out of whipped cream on top of the cupcake. I take one into my hands and take off the baking liner.
Are you feeling any better?
I find the best spot to bite from and take a piece. The yellow, almost banana-flavored base, together mixed with the whipped cream, create a symphony of different colors. You mean flavors? I don't know about that, man. Those are great, Natsuki. I blurb out a compliment as I look at her. She was just ready to answer Amy.
I'm glad you like them. Otherwise, I would throw you into the trash.
Come on, Nat. You don't need to be so aggressive.
That was a joke.
Likewise. Natsuki blanks out for a second. It takes Amy to bring her back into reality. I can't really decipher what she's saying. Natsuki quickly regains attention to the phone.
Nah, Malone is here. Okay. Malone, she wishes you a good day.
That's nice of her. Natsuki grins as she returns to her call.
If you're feeling better, that means you're coming to school tomorrow, right?
Wait a second. Hold on. 1M. 2 R's in tomorrow, my friend.
Okay then, I have something else to take care of. See ya.
Natsuki ends the call with a smile and places her phone on the table. The phone lands next to 2 books also laying on the table. One is green with white text. On its cover, it says, How to Manage Your Anger, Anger Management Tips. The second book is a manga featuring a person holding a sword and a French flag, standing on ruins. The title says, 1789, Start of a French Revolution. I pick up the anger management one and look at it. Is it helping? Natsuki turns around in slight surprise. When she notices what I'm holding, she frowns.
Yeah, a bit. Still isn't enough to stop our occasional fights. At least we don't lash out on random people anymore, and just ignore them, for most of the time anyway.
You want to keep some sort of an image?
Yeah, I could say it that way.
Natsuki keeps quiet for a while before continuing.
Still doesn't stop me from being angered by stupid decisions.
Such as?
That book we got assigned to the literature club. So stupid.
I think for a while before picking up the manga. On its side, it reads Volume 3. You know why I recommended the book to you?
Huh?
Because of this. I hold up the manga. When Natsuki sees what I'm referring to, she faintly smiles. You don't need this comma. You can get rid of that one.
Yeah, you know that they're completely different topics?
I guess so.
You know why I like it?
Natsuki points to the manga. Why?
You've already guessed that this isn't my usual reading material. But there is something about the people rising against oppression caused by the dumb aristocracy that is somehow fascinating about it.
And then causing paranoia and the death of thousands of people.
Oh, you know what I mean, you!
Before Natsuki can spell out her insult, she stops herself and breathes in and out. While I let Natsuki calm herself, I start to list through the manga itself, while standing up. I recognize it goes through 2 points of view. One POV follows the general history of the French Revolution, showcasing important events and figures of the revolution. The second POV follows a daughter and a father, standing on the opposite sides of the revolution. That's some interesting reading you got there. Natsuki smiles to herself as I place the manga on the table again. I still find it a bit weird to see her smile after something like that, but I guess she doesn't really hide it in front of me anymore. I then remember back to our conversation in the club room. You wanted something. What exactly? Natsuki looks at me and then stands up as well. After a bit, her cheeks go red and she looks away.
I was wondering if...
Natsuki is going through her words. As I try to help her, I put hand on her shoulder. Just one. Nat, you can tell me everything, all right? Natsuki, after a bit of consideration, nods. She then takes my hand and plays with it.
I was wondering if we could, try it again.
I immediately get uncomfortable as I get what Natsuki is trying to say. I look away as I force Natsuki's hands off my own. We both agreed to end it, Nat. My memories flood back to me as I look at Natsuki's lips. I still remember them as sweet, full of strawberry flavor. I don't know what she is doing with them, but they were always magic. Even through the memories we had, I shake my head. No, just no. Natsuki looks down and sighs. She then places my hand on my chest.
Please.
Natsuki practically whispers as she grabs my t-shirt. My head is spinning far and wide. Nat, we had enough arguments and fights as it was. I don't want to bring that up again. I try to defend my stance, but Natsuki still is glued to me, holding my t-shirt. Looks like she isn't going to drop this, but I don't want to get together again. As Natsuki pleads her eyes onto me, I sigh as I grab her hand. Alright, but one condition. If we both don't feel anything, we'll never bring out our former relationship again. Deal? Natsuki smiles as she stands up by her toes to get closer to my face.
Deal.
She brings my face towards her lips as we kiss. Her lips are still the same flavor as I remember. She drives her fingers deeper into my skin through my shirt. And yet, I don't feel anything. After a while, Natsuki backs away. She looks disappointed. More disappointed than I've ever seen her.
Nothing. What about you?
My silence only confirms my answer. Nothing. Natsuki looks down as she steps back. Then she frowns, opens her mouth to say something, but then stays silent. Hi. Whoa, did I interrupt something? Both me and Natsuki look to the left where her father stands.
No, not really, Dad.
Rainier looks at the both of us and then nods. All right, then. He goes to the fridge and opens it. After a bit of fishing there, he grabs a cold beer. Both me and Natsuki look down as Rainier walks off while opening his drink.